10 unusual work habits of historical figures. 1. Mary Shelley wrapped a snake around her shoulders. Shelley kept a boa constrictor in her writing studio. She wrapped it around her shoulders when she worked. When the boa began to squeeze, Shelley would take a break. 2. Salvador Dali used the paranoid critical method. It was his own invention to boost creativity. Dali would intentionally brood over bizarre and illogical thoughts. This caused him feelings of concrete irrationality. Then he painted the unusual visions they produced in his mind's eye. 3. Nikola Tesla did everything in threes. Tesla was somewhat obsessed with the number 3. He claimed it kept him focused. He'd circle a city block 3 times before entering a building. He demanded 3 folded cloth napkins beside his plate. He only stayed in hotel rooms with numbers divisible by 3. 4. Marcel Proust never got out of bed if he could help it. Proust woke up around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. After breakfast, he worked right in his bed. He would prop himself up with several fluffy pillows. Surprisingly, Proust claimed that writing was hard work.
After 10 pages, I am shattered.
5. Charles Dickens relied on talismans. Dickens kept a specific arrangement in his study. He always had a vase of flowers and a paper knife. He also kept a bronze statuette of 2 sword-wielding toads. Dickens took these knickknacks with him when he traveled. The author dictated his work to an assistant. He would go through each sentence multiple times. 6. Benjamin Franklin took care baths in the nude. Franklin believed that nudity was good for one's health. He also claimed that it stimulated his mind. Franklin would get undressed and sit at a window. He did it in wintertime too. Franklin wanted to prove that cold doesn't cause illness. 7. Beethoven poured water over his head. The composer always had a pitcher on hand. He'd douse himself with water to keep from nodding off. Eventually, his landlord sealed his floor with concrete. Every morning, Beethoven drank a cup of coffee. He would count out exactly 60 coffee beans. 8. B.F. Skinner plotted his productivity on a graph. Skinner was the leading proponent of behaviorism. He applied his principles to his own work life. Skinner operated on a regimented schedule. He used a timer to remind him when to start and stop writing. For every 12 hours recorded on the timer, he wrote,
I plot a point on a cumulative curve, the slope of which shows my overall productivity.
Skinner was also a proponent of segmented sleep. He woke after midnight and returned to work for an hour. 9. Maya Angelou only worked in a hotel room. She lived at home, but would head to the hotel in the morning. She wrote while lying on the bed. Everything had to be removed from the walls. Angelou kept a dictionary and a Bible in her room. She also had a deck of cards and a bottle of sherry. Angelou never allowed her room to be cleaned. She would work until exactly 2 p.m. She then put the work completely out of her mind. 10. Honoré de Balzac drank 50 cups of coffee per day. He wrote,
Were it not for coffee, one could not write, which is to say one could not live.
He once claimed to have worked 48 hours with a 3-hour rest. Some historians think it wasn't strong black coffee. Balzac likely drank a cocoa coffee mix.